next guest from the private sector proposed the now dedicated inner lanes for buses along EDSA, enabling them to traverse the highway without interruption. Based on the Transport Department's data, the EDSA Busway serves more than 170,000 commuters, making it one of the busiest transport modes in Metro Manila. Let's check back on how he thinks the government ought to plan for EDSA's rehab. Joining us for more, Eduardo Yap, the chair of the Management Association of the Philippines Traffic and Infrastructure Committee. So good to see you again, Eddie. Welcome back to the program.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. So nice to see you with you again.
So you're recommending that the contract for the busway privatization be fully awarded this year. And I realize that you've been following this up for over several years already. So why should the government listen now with more urgency?
Well, you're right that this project spanned 3 administrations. It started during the time of Duterte, and then Duterte, and then this administration. Now, I would say that this busway dovetails closely to the desire to have a modern EDSA because as announced by Secretary Vince Dizon, the solution to EDSA congestion is mass transit. Correctly so, because this is also stated in the National Transport Plan of 2017 that there should be reliance on mass transit rather than private vehicles.
That's so true. I mean, there's so many merits about having a bus rapid transit system, especially when we don't have a train system, not available yet. We've seen it in other countries when you go to places like Jakarta, maybe even Guangzhou. They do have that viable transport system set up in their major highways.
Yes, well, true. Now, on EDSA, you know that we have this MRT3, which is functioning, and then the other one is partly the subway, and then thirdly, the busway. Now, these 3, I would say, would be adequate to meet the needs of commuters on EDSA. Now, the private sector lanes would be to augment this transport mode.
Well, let's pick up on that and give everybody a visual of what we're talking about, because I was surprised that it's a presentation that you made 10 years ago, going all the way back to 2015. And I was actually asking you whether you had a newer presentation, but I guess that it really goes to show that something that you proposed, that the private sector proposed 10 years ago, still is very viable in today's time.
Right.
Could you take us through this diagram here and what really and how it will benefit the commuter experience?
Well, the busway is a tested system being used abroad in Latin America, in advanced countries, China and others. It's just a matter of adapting what they have done abroad here so that we can get the benefits of this modern transport system. The other one, this one, is a visualization of what we mean by having a green EDSA. The sidewalks are planted with trees in order to shade commuters and pedestrians.
Yeah, I'd love to see those trees, but at the same time, I was actually very attracted to the wider platforms because right now, that's what we need for our commuters who are standing in line to get their bus ride. Timelines appear to be an issue. I've mentioned 10 years, but what is the recommendation now for that busway to be completed? And within what timeline, considering that the bidding is already over?
Yes, from what we know is that this year is supposed to be the bidding of the busway. Now, there are several modes of implementing this busway program. One is the there should be one contractor for the bus service and the infrastructure, while the other one is to separate the two into two separate contracts. Now, it looks like the separate contract has merits because the infrastructure is still ongoing, and while the bus is already operating. So we can say that if worse comes to worse, the busway infrastructure is not yet ready, the bus operations may proceed. And that one may include from Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City up to all the way to EDSA, terminating in the Parañaque bus terminal.
That appears like a viable a solution, just one part of the many parts that we have to implement there, because this is a multi-sectoral activity. This is why I really appreciate the time and the insights. Eddie Yap, thank you so much for joining us from the Management Association of the Philippines.